Welcome to everyone who has joined today. This is the office hours, and I'm going to run through with you a little bit about what we're going to do here today. Sarah, if you can give me the next slide, please.
Yep.
So, for anyone new, what can you expect from this session? Well, in this session, this is actually dedicated for you guys to learn a little bit more about what is new within app development at Dynatrace. So we'll run through our latest stuff, and that's going to be presented by Sarah today, where she'll go over our newsletter that gets posted into community and goes a little bit deeper into those given topics that we mentioned there. And then after that, we will obviously open up to you guys and ask all those questions that you've got burning desires that you need to get answered. And we will also showcase some of the questions as well from our community that we think are relevant and important to you. So without further ado, I will pass over to Sarah today, who is going to go through the What's New section from our blog.
And just one info, so questions, you can ask the questions in the Q&A section of Slack. So I guess it should be at the bottom. So there's a Q&A button. And feel free at any point in time to ask a question, and then later on we will answer them.
Yeah, thanks, Cindy, for reminding that. I completely forgot to go on to that one. So I appreciate that. Again, at the bottom, if you go to your Slack, your Zoom, I apologize, Q&A. If you hit that, that will open up a little browser and you can ask your Q&A questions in there. I apologize. Thanks, Cindy, for that reminder. Sarah, over to you.
Thank you so much. So yeah, we've got some news for you for all of those of you who want to develop Dynatrace apps or already do so. Just let me switch over. You should all see my browser now. And I've got the developer newsletter open here. And there's a couple of things that I would like to point out here. So in general, I mean, you will all be able to read through this, so I won't go into all the details, but I want to point out the DQL deep dive. So there's a new playlist on YouTube. It's called Learning Dynatrace Query Language, or DQL, and it gives you all you need to get started with DQL and diving deeper into the topic. If that's not enough for you, there is also the DQL Dev Hours. They take place once a month. The newsletter is a bit outdated already. So the last ones were on November 8th. And I think the next ones will be on December 6th. So that's your next chances to join the DQL Dev Hours. Yeah, and
yeah, maybe one question,
Sarah.
So if you basically want to get into DQL, you've just added another option, another way of consuming or another learning tab, DQL videos.
Yes.
So really,
yeah,
really nice format. If you're more a visual person and a listening person, then the way to go to learn about DQL and also stay up to date is to subscribe to our YouTube playlist.
Yeah, I'll just show you quickly. This link takes you directly there, and it's a very nice playlist with very speaking chapter names as well, so you can always pick up where you left off.
A nice fun fact about that playlist as well is that me and Sarah actually used one of those to solve one of our app problems this week. So me and Sarah have been building an app together during the onboarding session, and we actually use one of those DQL videos to help us write our DQL apps. So they are very useful, and we can put our hands up and say they do work.
Yeah, they definitely helped us out in a tight spot. All right. Yeah, so the next topic I want to point out to you is the Dynatrace TechRadar. So the TechRadar is a visual summary or help where we give recommendations on tools that we think are useful or maybe not quite so useful.
Yeah. So does this mean in the most inner circle, so those are the ones which you would recommend?
Yeah, so we have 4 circles here. We have adopt, we have trial, we have assess, and we have hold. Adopt are the technologies that we here at Dynatrace and also the Dynatrace community at large uses in daily app development. And those are the ones where we would say that definitely go ahead, use them. The others are obviously trial, might be quite new technologies that we're still taking a look at, and other people are maybe as well. Assess means also that it's quite new and still unproven, so we'll have to wait how they develop. And hold is technologies that we've tried that haven't worked out so well, or where we would just, for now, say rather hold off. Yeah, you can check out all the technologies. You can also, if you want, if you're interested in one of them, you can just click on them and there will be a short description about the technology and what it does. Great. So let's get back to the presentation. And Penny, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for that section on the what's new. So I can see that we have no questions so far going in, but I'm going to just open it up to the audience again and say, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them into the Q&A. And that can be anything from what you've just seen or anything that we happen to be talking about to any of your questions that you have developing your apps. So if you're stuck on something, if you see something strange in the documentation, you can ask us now by just hitting that sort of Q&A within your Zoom and writing down your question, and we will try and get to as many as we can. But in the meantime, if there's no questions as of yet, we do, of course, have some already prepared. We actually have something a little bit new today as well, and a little bit fun. So instead of going straight into the questions today, we actually have a hot tip for you. And this is actually going to be shared based on some feedback that we've been given from developers who are developing here on Dynatrace. Sarah, I'm going to pass it over to you. Maybe you would like to explain a bit more.
Yeah, sure. So we've had some questions about when exactly to use app functions, and we've also had the feedback or gathered from the feedback that people tend to turn to using app functions way earlier than they would have to. So what I would like to do is I would like to take a look together with you at the documentation, and it's a little bit hidden. But if you go to app functions and then scroll down, the third header says use cases. And for most of the time, you will only need to use app functions for this one use case, which is accessing third-party or external APIs that you want to use in your app. There is some other use cases as well, but most of the time, these will not apply to you. And if they do, you will know about it. So really what we want to stress here, if you use app functions, the main use case is if you want to access external APIs.
So Sarah, this means that I don't, if I execute any DQL queries within my app, I don't have to put this in an app function.
No, you don't. So if, for example, let's say you need a weather API because you want to know what the weather is like in Barcelona, Vienna, and Linz, and you want to display that data, and it comes from an API that's not Dynatrace internal, then you would have to use app functions. But if, say, you wanted to get some information from DQL about your users, then you don't need to use app functions. Good. And
so thank you for that, Sarah. Appreciate that. So that's a nice hot tip for you guys then. So a little bit different from our usual having sort of the questions, but we're going to go over to the questions now, so don't you worry. So let's have a look at our first question that we have prepared. Oh, we actually have something coming in. So perhaps we'll just look over that.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe let's go into our first question we have. So Jill is asking, hello, I've seen the new use React hooks, and documentation still doesn't include much documentation. What is the best practice to use those, assuming that an app will need both retrieve and update using hooks? Specifically, since the definition includes, for example, data, I get an error including both the use, get, and update hooks. Could be showed for documentation service, for example. Maybe I can share my screen, then I will go to the developer portal. Thanks, Penny. And share screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thanks. So what you have been referring to is new use React hooks. Oh, sorry, I misread it. I thought it's about the use React hooks. So we have some, maybe first thing we have built. If you go to reference and to SDKs or TypeScript, we have our own React hooks, and the React hooks we offer from as Dynatrace is basically only one important hook which you can use if you want to query Grail data. But I guess Gil, maybe you can elaborate a bit about the question, because I'm not sure if I'm getting it properly. Here we go. We have a link. Documents and app state. Okay. You're referring to those hooks. So we have a couple of hooks defined. So you're referring to documents and app state hook. And how can you use both create and use in the same component? So maybe Gil, if you want, we can I can give you talking, so permissions to talk, and you just quickly explain it yourself if you're fine with it. 1 second, Penny, can you please, or I can do it. Hi.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Awesome.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. So I think we had maybe some background. You have been asking some questions in community.
Yeah.
And I just told you, yeah, maybe you join the call, and then we can discuss your questions you have, would be maybe the best or the solution.
Yeah. So if you're looking at React hooks for the documents, for example, so you have both use document and use create document or delete document or whatever. But both of them are defining const as data or error. If you put both of them in the same component, you get this. From what I've seen on my environment, I'm getting an error that it's already been defined.
Do you
understand my question?
So maybe just quickly to understand the use case. So you're using documents, and then in the same component you want to read the same. So you want to read the document.
And I can also update it. Yes, and I can also update it. So.
Okay, and you get an error when?
And when the two definitions are within the same component, because data has been defined as part of as the first.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So you can only so you okay, and the create and the use, should it be the same document, or is it a different document? Different document, I mean the document ID. Is it the same, or is it a different one?
No, it would be the same document. However, the data, the const data, okay.
Yeah, but
the definition is duplicated.
Yeah, of course, because it's the same definition, so you have to use a different definition.
Right. So how can you put them in the same component? Are you aliasing them or?
So right after so right after you create a component, you want to update it and you want to use the same variable name, right?
Not necessarily. If you'll tell me I can change that, then no
You
worries.
you can change that easily. So
Yeah.
So what you if you want to go that way, you can so you just create a document, right? And then in the next step, you use the document, or sorry, you create it, then you use it, and you have different names here, right? And but just you change the ID. So first you create it, and you will get, I guess, you must get a document ID after the creation, and then this is the one which you would use for the visualization.
Okay, maybe I'm not. I'm probably not explaining myself correctly.
Okay.
Will the use document does the use document always require the const data? Okay, the name data.
No. You can use here anything. So
I can write data on for the use document definition and data one on the use create document.
Yeah, so you can write, I don't know, my document, I don't know, my shopping list, and then you have my shopping list error and my shopping list is loading, for instance.
Okay.
So it's just so it's just the parameters basically. So one property is data, the other one if there's an error, and the third one the third state is this document still loading.
Okay, so this is not derived from the definition of the use document itself. Hook.
No. I mean maybe so what you could instead of that kind of handling, so what you could do, you can just write const whatever name equals use document, so you don't resolve it.
Okay.
And then you would access it. So let's say you have use my shopping list. You have a shopping list. You say const shopping list equals use document. And then as sub properties, you would have shopping list of data, shopping list of error, shopping list dot is loading.
Good.
Maybe that's easier to explain.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now I understand what you've been asking for. Okay. Yeah. Any other question regarding this hook?
So I did notice that when I'm, for example, deleting a document, and going back to a different one, I was using, instead of that, I was using the samples of the 10 stack React hooks. That is in the documentation. You have an example for the hooks in different handling of hooks, but the requerying the document still showed me the deleted document. It was seen as though there was some sort of a cache, internal cache of querying the data or using the data.
Okay, so you're saying so just to summarize, so you deleted the document, and afterwards you try to query.
I'm getting a list of the documents, and I was still able to see the document, even though it was deleted.
So you got a successful message of deleting the document, and afterwards you try to query it, and it was still there, and you expected it not to be in the list.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I need to reproduce. And I mean, it should work like that. So it should work after you delete a document. You shouldn't. So immediately after you get the message, you shouldn't be able to see it. I will try it out and let you know in the community. So just a small reproducer, just a couple of lines of code, and see if it's working as expected. I mean, the problems. Yeah, I don't know. The problems is maybe awaiting some sync problems, but I will look into it and will let you know.
I think I was able to somehow resolve this by doing some sort of a refetch. Okay, so it seems like there was a local cache from the library I was using. I was using the, let me just tell you, it was the 10-stack React query.
Yeah. Okay, you went via that library. Okay,
Yeah.
that library might be using in cache. Yeah. Okay, so did it happen only in combination with using that library, or?
I didn't have any other. It was using that library. I was able to resolve this by adding the sort of a random ID. So it was refetching that probably. Okay. But yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and try your own React hooks, because it seems like a more native and intuitive way to do that. So
Yeah, that's okay, but I can double check. So if the if it's working as expected, so deleting the document should be immediately deleted. Yeah, I mean, what maybe just some information. So if you're developing locally, the documents are not really created. Yeah, just everything is simulated locally. After you deploy it, it's really then the document then is really stored and deleted and so on. So there might be, I wouldn't be surprised if there's also some difference in behavior, to be honest.
okay.
But in any case, so I can also test it. So check if there's any kind of caching. I have not observed it while I've been testing the document service, but yeah, I can definitely check it out. So, and I will let you know. So without and maybe also, yeah, the question is how you have been using also this library, this how was it called?
10-stack.
10-stack. Yeah. So at least, so I said I will double check if our mechanism, so if it works as expected, and let you know in the community.
Good. Thank you very much. Here, I'll put here on the QA the name of the library.
Yeah, 10-stack. Let me just note it down. Thanks. Any other questions?
Oh, I have too many of those, but maybe others do have also as well. I'm coming from an Angular experience, and React is completely different in its behavior. So
okay, yeah, okay. You have an Angular background. Okay, maybe there's another question. Then we will come back to you, or just ask the next question in the Q&A. And
yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jill.
We
have a question from Yanis.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to take this one, Sini?
Yeah, I can take that one as well. So a question from me is, I tried to create a notebook. I tried to create a notebook with the sections already run, starting from a template notebook. So using the SDK, I retrieve the template notebook and generate a new one with some variations. But the new notebook is empty. All the sections are not run or are not executed. Is it possible to do this right now? So basically, just to try to understand what the problem is. So you're creating a notebook and programmatically, so a notebook document, and you're adding some sections. You have some sections in notebook document, and you want that the results are already pre-filled or executed. Is that correct? Or actually, Yanis, I can also give you permissions to talk. Hi, Yanis.
Hello. Yes. Was not from an application. It was using a workflow, but the concept is exactly the same. Yes. Basically, I got a notebook template, a notebook that I use as a template, and basically every every specific amount of time, I want to create a new notebook based of the template notebook. But I try, to use the SDK to retrieve the notebook, the structure. But every time when I try I run the workflow, a new notebook will be generated, but just with the static field, the static section.
Yeah. So no query results, right?
Exactly. So the query was not executed. So I suppose that maybe there is, something, some comment that I can run to execute all the section.
So
or
basically,
just
so you just want to have always some note. So you wanted to store some notebook with the results of the queries.
exactly.
So this doesn't work out of the box. So you would need to so for every section, you have in the notebook, if it's a DQL query, you need to execute the query and store the result as part of the notebook.
Sorry, as I need to store the data.
So you need to store the result as part of the notebook. So if you check out a Dynatrace notebook, so you can download a notebook as JSON, you'll see how the structure looks like. So you just take one where you have all the results executed, so it's a JSON, and you will see that every section has also some result section. Where the raw JSON response is stored from the API. And what you need to do, so if it's empty, if it's coming from the template, you need for every section to execute this DQL. You will get the raw JSON result and add this JSON result as part of the
okay. So for example, in the workflow, I need to execute also all the query to get the result, and after add manually inside the notebook. There is no a command that I can execute automatically to run automatically all the things.
No.
Okay, got it. Okay.
You have to do this manually. We don't have this in place that if the document type is notebook, that you can say, hey, execute my notebook. No.
I was looking for. Yes. Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Done. In the meantime, are there any other questions? Let me check. No new additional questions. Then let me maybe jump to this slide deck again. I need to jump a bit fast forward. And you're seeing the wrong screen.
We need to see your presentation screen.
Second. What? No?
Yes.
Cool. Sorry. So
yep, you're fine on the one.
Yeah, the slides got a bit mixed up. So some time ago, Stephen, so Penny, do you want to rephrase the question maybe?
Yeah, sure. So here in one of our questions that we had asked in community, Stefan actually wanted to self-monitor the app functions of logs that had been deployed within his apps. And he was getting some sort of concerns here about accessing controls there. So I think this is the correct one. Yes. So perhaps, Cindy, you want to give us the solution to what this could be?
So basically, self-monitoring of your Dynatrace apps, and yeah, since beginning of November, this is possible. So you can now with this guide. So I will just open the help page. In Dynatrace developer, of course, it's the wrong link. Hold on, I will just show you where you can find it. So in the develop section, there's a troubleshooting section, and there is a page called Dynatrace App Monitoring. And what we allow you, basically, if you want to get monitoring insights of your Dynatrace app, you can do this. And there's a guide about how to basically monitor your deployed app. So what you get out with following this guide, you get real user monitoring. So basically, all the performance data you are used to from what Dynatrace offers out of the box, you can also get from your custom Dynatrace app. So all RAM data, all RAM release monitoring insights, and also all app function logs. So you know Dynatrace app functions, and you can have there some logging, and all this telemetry data, can be collected within your app and sent to an environment of your choice. So how does this work? So basically, you set up in your Dynatrace environment where you want to receive the monitoring data. You create you create a new Dynatrace app, which will be a placeholder for your app to monitor. So your Dynatrace custom app, and then you will get basically RAM data and app function logs. Let me jump to the next question we wanted to highlight from our community.
Don't go too fast. So the next question we had coming from our community, a developer had some problems fetching data from the environment v2 API, and he wanted to ask into an app. So perhaps, Cindy, you can elaborate on why they had this problem and how they could be avoided.
Yeah, so that person wasn't aware what kind of data is already available on the Dynatrace platform. And especially in Grail, what kind of data is available in Grail. And that person wanted to use the environment v2 API and the environment v2 SDK to query problems. But with Grail, so since we launched Grail, what we have since the beginning are basically Davis in events and problems in Grail. So if you want to access or query any kind of problems, you don't have to go to via the environment v2 API. You can just use DQL and query Davis problems and events. And there's also in our public help, there's a page. I hope this link now works. Of course, it doesn't work. There's a page which is called Davis examples. You see quite some examples how you can query and access Davis problem and events in Grail. So basically, don't go via the API and via the environment v2 SDK. Just use DQL if you want to query Davis problems and events. Yeah.
Cool. So we do have a third question as well, but I just want to quickly remind anyone from the audience that if they have any questions, feel free to butt in and put them into the Q&A, and we'll try and resolve them on live as we have been doing. So Jill, if you have any more, you said you did, feel free to get typing whilst we go through our last question that we have prepared for you today. So the last question that we have prepared is someone was basically trying to do an auto refresh in apps. So they were trying to have their data consistently auto refreshing. So without actually refreshing, but consistently auto refreshing. Perhaps, Cindy, you can explain a little bit better than I can actually what they were trying to do there.
Sure. So basically, Hank wants to build kind of a dashboard, which an app/dashboard. He has various charts, and he wanted just to, while this app is open, while the screen is open, the data or the data displayed is being like auto refreshed in some given interval. And basically, so what you need to do, as Stefan, my colleague, has responded here, you have to pull the data like continuously, so to refresh it. And what we are again suggesting here there is the 10-stack query. So the one library which Jill already talked about. And there you can set a refetch interval, which basically just executes some code, maybe some auto fetching code, and on that one you can build and then create such or fulfill such kind of use case of building a self-refreshing dashboard. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for that one, Sini. I thought that might be a little bit similar to the question that Jill was actually asking when he was going through it. I was like, it was tweaking in my mind that these two were a little bit similar. So perhaps, Jill, that might help you if you even just read over that comment over in the community as well to get some more context on that Stack library. Very cool. Actually, I noticed as well, there was a couple of things we flew over earlier. So perhaps, Sarah, you would like to just reintroduce some of those what's new things that we have, as we have a couple of minutes and no new questions.
Yeah, so there in the newsletter, there's still some tips that some new releases that I can go over with for you. So
just give us a moment just to get over to the newsletter so that
no
audience
worries.
can see.
Perfect. And then, yeah, there is some new releases and information about releases that might be interesting to you. So the first thing that I want to point out, because Penny and I recently used it in a project as well, is the histogram chart. So a histogram chart can help you to visualize the distribution of numeric values. So what that means is, for example, what we used it for, we wanted to know how many given hosts were running how many processes at the same time. So if you take a quick look at this chart, so the let's say the 150 hosts were running 800 processes, and 100 hosts were running about 100 processes. So this is the kind of data that you can display with a histogram chart, and this is now available to you to fill with your own data. And
so Sarah,
back to
you're saying basically you can show basically a distribution about how many processes are running on the host. So the distribution on the number
exactly.
of processes running on a host on average. Or the distribution chart.
Exactly. So then this gives you a good overview of that. For example, you could see any outliers. So if this distribution was what you wanted to see, but you had a lot of hosts running 0 processes, then maybe you would have a problem, and that would be a good visualization and a good thing to know if that was happening.
Basically, just a distribution histogram chart.
Exactly. Yeah, there's also some new components, such as the accordion component, or above is also a mention of the chip component. And there is some new additions to existing components, and you can check them all out. There's links in there to the documentation, and yeah, for you to just get into it. But this is just a short heads up of what's available. And there's also some updates to the Dynatrace SDK, and those are also described shortly and then linked below. And if you're interested in any of that in more detail, you can also check out the documentation for more info. I think that's it from my side for this time. And I'll hand over to Penny to check if there's any more questions.
If someone could show me the slideshow again, just 1 second. I just want to show the very last slide today. Whilst I finally ask the audience, is there any more questions today that I can help you with, that Sini can help you with, that Sarah can help you with, to get you started? And let's just have a small pause to make sure that we answered everything that we can today. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to write in any questions whilst I tell you a little bit more about where you can get access to that lovely newsletter with all those good features in there. So if you're not familiar and you're new here, then we'd like to introduce to you the developer Q&A forum. So I know that Jill and other people here today are very familiar with it, as they've been asking questions, which is great. And we'd like to keep encouraging you to go to there to do that, or to come here to the office hours and ask your questions here. We're always happy to answer them live and to help you guys in building apps better using Dynatrace. Another thing is to use the Dynatrace developer documentation. So that's all available for you. So that you've seen a lot of that today and a lot of the screen shares. And that has a lot of the information that you need in order to get started building apps. And then on the Dynatrace community, under our Dynatrace Q&A forum, that's where you can actually find our blog. So actually, maybe Cindy, could you just share that page that you had up showing the Dynatrace community, and we can just actually show them where they can get that specific page. Apologies, Cindy, I can't hear you because you're muted.
Sorry, are you seeing the right screen?
No, I'm still seeing the presentation.
Now?
Yeah, just on this one, if we go into community, so I just want to show this. So if we go into developer, if you look into developer under the developer blog, this is where you'll basically see all of those newsletters. So you see here, there's newsletters, and we produce them once a month. So once a month, you'll get a notification. If you want to get notified, you can just hit that follow button there, and you'll get notified whenever we release a new newsletter. So those are those places that you can get more information. And our next one of these will be, I'm just actually checking the date myself, it's going to be on the 12th of December. So on the 12th of December, if you have any questions between now and then, make sure you either note them down, put them in community, or come and join us on the 12th of December, and we will answer them live for you here. Cool. Well, we have no new questions in today. So I'm going to presume everyone's happy and satisfied. And if not, I'll see you in the community. Thank you very much for joining us today. Ciao, guys.
Bye.
Bye.